Developments in artificial intelligence have created a kind of competition between countries and regions. Everybody's trying to create the perfect conditions for the establishment of the new AI hub. And today we're going to take a closer look at Puerto Rico. And guiding us on this journey is Roderick Miller, CEO at Invest Puerto Rico. Hello, Roderick.
Hello, thanks so much for having me.
Yes, so let's talk about your organization. What is the purpose of Invest Puerto Rico and how can you help technology companies?
Well, Invest Puerto Rico is the island's investment promotion agency. So Invest Puerto Rico, we work with a variety of different types of companies. So whether it's business development, working with C-suite executives, C-suite executives, site selectors, advisors to companies, or whether it's our marketing to shift the narrative from crisis to resilience and opportunity, we're at the front lines of telling the Puerto Rico story and making sure that people understand the value that Puerto Rico has to offer. And from a technology company perspective, the value is almost immeasurable. You're talking about a nascent market from the perspective it doesn't have the concentration of tech workers that some major hubs such as a London or San Francisco or Silicon or New York would have. But what you've got is the sixth highest concentration of STEM graduates of anywhere in the world. You've got a place that's kind of at the cross section of the Americas and the Caribbean with the global access. And you've got an incentives environment and a talent environment that's rich. And that's what we sell. So we help technology companies figure out how to locate on the island, how to find the talent that they need. And we also serve as a connector to other business relationships that can be helpful.
Thank you. And could you identify two flagships, like two projects that you really liked working on and that you perhaps would like to highlight for the international audience, like two AI or tech companies based in Puerto Rico that you would like people to know about?
Yeah, I could name 10, but I'll do two. Wovenware is a great example. Wovenware is a nearshore provider of AI and digital transformation services and solutions. They've been named for 5 years in a row to the Inc. 5000, an annual list of America's fastest growing private companies. And since the beginning of 2019, they've experienced significant growth in the nearshore delivery model, specifically for software engineering and AI services solutions. They work across, insurance, healthcare, telecommunications, and defense. That's one of the companies that we're very proud of. That's a Puerto Rican grown company that's doing amazing things. Another company that's interesting is BrainHigh. It's a startup that helps medical personnel communicate with potential patients by handling phone calls, text, and Facebook messages with an automated bot that can schedule doctor's visits and answer non-medical questions. These are just two examples. We've got a very strong IT cluster here in Puerto Rico. We work with the Puerto Rico IT cluster, which is a tech association, and a bunch of others to figure out not only how can we bring more tech companies to the island, but how do we optimize their success in terms of making sure that they've got access to the customer base, the technologies, the capacity in terms of the infrastructure here to do the things that they need.
Yeah. And I just remembered one thing about networking. So you do have an island-wide 5G network right now, right?
That is correct. That's correct. We're very excited about the 5G work that's going on. I mean, we've got a partnership and we've got a test bed as well for the 5G stuff. So we're doing a lot of innovative stuff, working with universities around the U.S. as well as here in Puerto Rico, working with innovative companies. So there's not a question of speed or bandwidth. When companies are looking at Puerto Rico, they can find what they need with the capacity that they need, with easy access to the U.S., with access to the financial markets, and that's really what Puerto Rico is all about. Many of the companies that I talk to say, "Man, if I had known, I would have been here 10 years ago." But the reality is that the tech opportunity in Puerto Rico is really a phenomenon of the last 4 or 5 years. Of course, the byproduct of hurricanes Maria and Irma. And a bunch of other things have created, and a very rich incentives environment has created a foundation that really allows for tech companies to probably be more successful here than they would have been 5 or 10 years ago. And I would say the exciting thing about our market vis-a-vis other markets is that growth potential, is that access to Latin America, is that caliber of talent that's so broad and widespread here on the island. So if you've not looked at Puerto Rico for a tech company, I mean, what gets us excited about AI? I mean, that's huge. What gets us excited about AI is because it's across everything. I mean, the Internet of Things across everything. I mean, so we've got, of course, 48% of our islands manufacturing, pharmaceutical, aerospace engineering. When you've got that kind of basis that's already high tech, you've got to have the Internet of Things kind of plugged into it strategically. So what we're seeing is the historic sectors that where we've been strong, so things such as pharmaceuticals, such as engineering, financial services as well. Those sectors are all figuring out how do they leverage the Internet of Things? How do they leverage AI to be better? And so our AI pipeline is a direct byproduct of companies in the AI space that want to have access to the companies that have been here for 50, 60, 70 years.
Okay, thank you. And let's say our viewers are interested, like they've heard about Puerto Rico, they perhaps want to investigate, like what does it cost and how does it work setting up business there. So what would be the next step? Like how do they get in touch with you? How do they start considering Puerto Rico as their next kind of tech destination?
Well, the first thing I would say is to go to our website, www.investpr.org. That's www.investpr.org. There you will find extensive information about our market sectors, what we're doing, how we're helping companies. And my team of about 20 professionals can help with everything from helping you identify a space to be in, to navigating the incentives process in Puerto Rico, to identifying talent. It's our jobs to be your partners in relocating and expanding to the island, and we'd be glad to do it. And Puerto Rico, of course, is, I would argue, probably one of the best channels to enter the U.S. market because, of course, while it is part of the United States, it also is part of the Caribbean and Latin America. So by coming to Puerto Rico, you not only get access to the U.S. market, but you get access to other markets throughout the Caribbean and Latin America.
Okay, well, that's certainly an interesting proposition. Thank you, Roderick, for outlining it, and good luck in your work. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.